2-2 between Richards Bay and Orlando Pirates in what was a thoroughly entertaining Friday Night Lights fixture. We did say that it was going to be a fantastic game, and the battle for that title continues to heat up. Pirates dropping 2 crucial points today. Sundowns, of course, do have the weekend off because they'll be playing out in the CAF Champions League against Esperance. But wherever they are, no doubt, there's a smile on the Sundowns team's faces. Teko Modise, Kumutu Manenza alongside me. Teko, oh, it's going to be tough now for Pirates because 2 crucial points, but showing a bit of grit to come back, but they'll be disappointed after the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a team that comes into this fixture on a roll, scoring 11 goals. Of course, there was a lot of expectations from the fans, from themselves as well, to be able to get back to the number 1 position, but also to try and win this game here against the Richards Bay side that they've actually beaten a month ago. It was always going to be a very difficult side. It's always going to be difficult to actually get those maximum points here. But also, when you look at the game holistically, Orlando Pirates always chase the game, always the ones that are trailing. A lot of Pirates from the games that we've witnessed in the past, they're the ones that actually score first. But tonight, they were able to be, show a level of character to come back, even though things at times were not smoothly as they wanted to play. But Richards Bay, there was a lot that was required from them to be able to actually try and stop Orlando Pirates, because that was a big question when we started the game. We said, how are they going to stop? And you could see defensively how resolute they were. A lot of numbers that were required to actually come back and be able to defend those lines. Even at times they looked a little bit shaky in terms of the defensive structure, but yet again, I'm sure even Papi Zotano will feel like they actually lost the 3 points where they could have actually hold on to that lead of the 2-1. Orlando Pirates showed character in coming back with that Siyama goal.
I think an area where I thought Orlando Pirates had improved so much this season is the transitional game, the defensive transitions, where I thought today they didn't look balanced. Every time that Richards Bay won the ball, the spaces in the wide areas, I think the game plan of Papi Zotwani and Core really worked well, because I thought Barnes was cheating. He used the space behind Otto very well. On the other side, Gumede was cheating when Richards Bay needed to defend. And you could see that it was not that the 2 players were being lazy. You could see that the coach had instructed the players to stay there, because there was times in the game when watching the game, Papi saying to Barnes, don't track back, stay there. But now when the team is using that sort of a tactic, you can't afford to lose the ball as Orlando Pirates going forward. Like a Dion Ortiz to make sure, because no one is tracking him. So these are some of the chances. Look at the space. This is the space that they were using. Look at Barnes. He's got all the space. He needs to attack. Now it forces Tibisi to come out and try and assist in covering that space of Dion Otto. Where in other games you would see that it's a midfielder that is coming out to go and assist in that space. So I think a good game plan and a good tactic from Papi Zotwani and Core.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at the second half with regards to the efforts out there. This was one of them for Richards Bay, but largely the Orlando Pirates are through the kitchen sink. But Teko, I have to ask you, how much credit do we give Richards Bay for their efforts out there? Because it's quite easy to focus on Pirates and say Pirates drop points. Richards Bay, they gave their best as well.
Hence, I'd say that Coach Papi Zotwani would have felt like they actually dropped 2 points because they were in the lead. They're the ones actually, scoring those goals. But yet again, a lot of Pirates, of course, with the mentality, the quality that they have, you expected them actually to come back. But yet again, you rightfully say there's a lot of work that needed to be done by Richards Bay. They scored early, they needed to defend, and then look at the chances that Orlando Pirates created still. But if Richards Bay was still in the lead, looking at the changes that Papi Zotwani made, maybe he look at himself as maybe the certain changes maybe I should have maybe delayed a little bit better, maybe with Mahala as well, that was putting so much pressure at the defensive line. But yet again, a lot of Pirates coming inside the box, trying to get that equalizer in the game. But I think Richards Bay as well, I think they're let down by maybe the inexperience of the team, or maybe, holding on to the lead. I think that's one thing that let them down tonight. As much as that Orlando Pirates has so much quality, but in certain instances, you could have held on to the ball a little bit better. Yes, they were doing well with getting out on wide positions as well, but of course it's a system that's very demanding. You cannot expect when you're playing Orlando Pirates and you have those type of winners to last 90 minutes. But yet again, substitute like for like. Ngema comes in. Ngema's not a player that will go on beyond the defensive line that like Barnes has. But yet again, maybe take Gumede, maybe playing him on this other side, maybe to be able to still, put pressure on Orlando Pirates' defensive side. But yet again, it's one of those games where you expect Orlando Pirates to win, but yet again, good shift that has been put by Richards Bay.
And of course, there were a few moments, especially towards the end of the game, with the goalkeeper. We thought the referee had actually given it to Muzo, but changing the decision. And again, very tricky. And you don't want to have these sort of nervy moments in a tight game like this.
You look at the foul, but before the foul, there's an opportunity for Orlando Pirates to score. Because when the keeper drops the ball, there's an opportunity for De Jong and Makgopa to put the ball in the back of the net. They don't do that. Now it forces them out of desperation. You score there. But now the foul is when the keeper has caught the ball. We're looking at the foul, yes, but there's an opportunity for the two strikers in De Jong and Makgopa to put the ball in the back of the net. But a great save by Otiano in goals. He stands his ground.
To De Jong, siyangena baba, singena nalo netball. But I mean, again, you know, I looked at a moment there when Otiano dropped that ball. Two youngsters absolutely gave him everything, the kitchen sink in terms of verbals, because they knew, these young boys, about Zikhali, because how much this game means to this particular team.
I mean, we always speak about when you're old enough when you play, and you look at also the passion that they had, these boys, to actually go to one of the senior players that really made a blunder there, to actually be able to shout and speak to him, because that's football. Football is about passion. You're expecting Otieno with his experience to be able to do better, because you can see the ball from Hoto, 20, 40 yards out, to be able to make the type of save, but he nearly made the splendor. But you look at the players here, the aggression that they showed to Otieno, but it's not something bad. These things do happen. It's unfortunate now that it happened on the front, but here Otieno could have done better. But yet again, comes back to what Pumoto said. It falls nicely for Makgopa. He hit it straight to Otieno. Now it becomes a foul. But if that ball, Makgopa plays it to either side, it becomes a goal, then it's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, a great moment. Pumoto, you wanted to touch on that?
No, I'm just saying, I saw something a little bit different today from Coach Wadu, where he took out both wingers in Apolis and also Moremi, but he did not go for like. He went for more tens. You could see, because how compact Richards Bay were, he needed players that can play in tight spaces. Hence he brought in Tito for a Moremi. Hence he brought in De Jong for an Apolis, because he needed players that are able to play in the pockets in between the lines in tight spaces. But it did not work out today. I thought that the compactness and the unity of Richards Bay today nearly saw them through. But they will feel that they dropped 3 points today playing at home, especially taking the lead twice at home and giving it away to Orlando Pirates.
And look, we have to give credit to both teams, because we saw some cracking goals today. I mean, we saw some pretty special strikes, and it was all started by Ukumete. I mean, a strike of the highest quality. We can criticize and say maybe the defensive line pushes out a little bit quicker, but it's a beautiful goal.
I mean, it is a beautiful goal. And you know, and 2 games ago, we're speaking of the goals of the month. I mean, you look at this one from a boy that Urolu. The last time he scored, he was playing against Kaizer Chiefs, and when he scored the winner. Here again, you can see he backtracks a little bit, hoping that Muneka will be able to put that ball nicely through to him, and also using the right technique. You can see that, you know, by using the legs going straight, the Scott is going to be blocked. By using it sliced a little bit with his outside foot, with enough power there, China they couldn't be able to make that save.
Yeah, I mean, a truly special strike. And we called for the second half for Apollos just to pick things up a touch. A great ball played in by Mr. King. And how about that?
Inch perfect. When you talk about the cross, it deceives the defender in terms of the flight of the ball. He wants to engage with the ball at the highest point. A nice run made by Mbutuma to try and disturb Zulu in that instance. Good first touch from Apolis, and he puts it in the back of the net. Yet another assist for Rile.
Yeah, one that gets Pirates back in the game, and you think from that moment, Deco, maybe they'll start kicking on. But Zikhali, I mean, a player who also put in a massive shift and showed big character today. I think it was quite close between him and Moses Mthembu with regards to that player of the match performance. That's a beautiful strike.
No, he was very close. That is Zikhali, but also look at Mahal as well. With that touch as well, there's a lot of similarities between the first goal that they scored when Muneka actually put it back to Kumete. And look at it yet again, Mahala putting it back to Zikhali that is really facing his goal post. He needed to make sure that his drop doesn't lift. It just makes sure that, you know, he keeps it on the ground. And there, it's very, very difficult for Sipa Chan to be able to see, because you can see Simis is just in front of him. And this is the goal that they actually felt. Now we're back. Now we're leading again. Now let's go back again and do our defensive duties. But Orlando Pirates had an answer for them later on.
This is how high Orlando Pirates were pressing. Look where Siema is receiving that ball. They were really knocking now. They were really knocking at that wall of Richards Bay. And he needed a centre back in this instance. Good layoff to be able to find Siema, thinking he will go out wide. We saw him score a goal nearly the same as this one earlier on in the season. But what a scotcher to be able to bring Orlando Pirates into level peggings.
Yeah, there's something that my director, Lazola, just uttered in my ear now. He said we were treated to some special goals, and I think we have to pay credit to how things have gone in the Betway Premiership Deco this season. We've seen some fantastic games for some fantastic crowds, and when you get 4 goal thrillers like this, people will keep coming back.
People will keep coming back. Indeed, it's all that affair to seeing a beautiful game. A lot of players coming back at later stage of the game. It is what fans are expecting, and also maybe from a Pirates side, maybe expecting to win. But you look at the stats itself. You look at the shots on target from a lot of Pirates. It's 8. But you look at the number of set pieces, the number of corner kicks that they had. I think at some time maybe they could have done things a little bit different, because I think Otieno wasn't commanding that area very, very well. But yet again, it was not to be. But with the ball position that they always had, that wall there that they had, we spoke about it earlier on, that don't be surprised to see Richards Bay having 6 or 7 at the back, because they know that the quality that Ronald Pirates possesses. But then again, it's a job well done from Richards Bay. Sure, again, I'll reiterate this, Papi will feel like they're drop points.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting with regards to this particular race, because the Betway Premiership Trophy rather is one that Pirates are desperate to get their hands on. But the drop points means Mamelodi Sundowns keep their position at the top of the log. Pumuzo, mentally, where do you think the team will be going into the next game? That is, of course, Orlando Pirates.
You need to compete against yourself. And Orlando Pirates, in this instance, Mamelodi Sundowns did not need to play for them to increase the gap at the top. And for me, I think Mamelodi Sundowns, representing the country in the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League, we'll have to wish him all the best. Mamelodi Sundowns, to say fly the flag. When you look at Orlando Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns left to go play the semi-final with Orlando Pirates a point 2 points behind them. They come back, Orlando Pirates are a point behind them, and they've got a game in hand.
Yeah, I mean, we often speak about scoreboard pressure, and that will help Mamelodi Sundowns when they do come back. For Richards Bay, I guess a point gain, because they move to 27 points now. And when you look at things in terms of safety, they're probably in a decent place now to make sure that they can have a strong end to the season.
Yeah, but we saw last season what they did towards the end of the season when they sneaked into the top 8, and they're still in the same position. Yes, they still have a number of games that they still have to play at home. We know that they're not good travelers, but at home they're a very resilient team, very difficult to beat. So they're looking again to find themselves in the top 8, but yet you see Swilly just behind them with a point away. So every game becomes important, because it really changes the log standing. It becomes interesting at the top and also at the bottom.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how the rest of the campaign will go, because it's going to be absolutely fascinating. Of course, here in the Betway Premiership, still so many exciting matches still to come this weekend, and we've had the perfect start to the weekend in terms of excitement. Now we move our attention